Yo, 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 hello again. My name's Lee Dorset. This is the Need to Know Crosstalk show, and I have with me again Mr. Harry Matadeen.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes, all good, my friend. Now we're moving on with dry fasting still, but we're looking at the combination of dry fasting and air. So this will cover breathing techniques and anything else Harry has to offer for us on the benefits of dry fasting with the influence of breathing or air, as we call it. So let's just jump in and just see what pops out. I've got let's ask you a question basically. First of all, are there any methods that you recommend or that you're into while you do dry fasting and complement yourself with breathing at all? Like, I know you do a bit of Wim Hof breathing and stuff like that. Is that just purely for exercises, or do you complement that with dry fasting specifically? Jump in there and just let us know what's going on there.
So I do actually. There's controversy in the community. You should guys be aware. There's Wim Hof and there's Buteyko. It's a versus thing. You've heard of these, right? These are two breathing methods. I do daily and includes when I'm dry fasting, both. So I don't see a problem with Wim Hof. I think it's very beneficial. It's a controlled hyperventilation, very powerful, turns the body alkaline.
I call it hacking. I call it breathing. It's a form of hacking breathing. It's not normal breathing. It's a hacking breathing, which works, but it's not normal, if that makes sense. But,
you're hyperventilating. You're just controlling it, but you're and your oxygen on the breath. You do it. You hold your nose. You hold 2 minutes.
Yeah,
because you're oxygenating your body like a lot. So it's a great hack. But at the same time, Buteyko breath work is also very easy to do and very beneficial for you. But also do the same thing as Wim Hof. You just on the exhale of a normal breath, you just pinch your nose because you do actually lose. If you don't pinch your nose and hold it, by the way, some 15% of the air does escape. So on a normal exhale, at the end of the exhale before you do the inhale, pinch your nose as long as possible. Time it if you want. And then once you do 30, 40 seconds, it'll let you know how healthy you are. It doesn't matter wherever you're at. Wait 1 minute, breathe normally, and then pinch your nose and do that about 6-7 times. Do that every morning as part of my breathwork routine. So it definitely amplifies my dry fasting because it's a health practice that's really important to do breath work. But I do it outside my dry fasting. I just do it daily without thinking about it. As soon as I get up in the morning, I also do it before I go to bed at night, just before I go the Buteyko breath holds. I miss off the Wim Hof when I'm dry fasting, but normally when I'm not dry fasting, like today and all the times, I do Wim Hof and Buteyko. So these are powerful.
So Wim Hof, like for me, so I played around with it. I don't do it too tough personally myself, but I played around with it, and it's definitely more of a physical. If I'm on the frame of mind of doing some more physical style working, and I want to hack the breathing methods, Wim Hof can be quite an interesting, beneficial one to crack on with. But I'm very much more personally on the what's the right words? I don't even know if there's a name for it, but I try to work with my breath mainly most of the time, which is to
focus.
I don't plan on holding the breath. I don't plan on hacking the breath in any way, but I do focus on completely slowing down how I approach the breath. So that's breathing in very deeply and out very slowly.
It's like conscious breathing. Conscious breathing, right?
And not excessively taking in too much where it's too much for the body to hold. So therefore I have to excessively breathe out, or because it's about not holding the breath. It's allowing the air to come in to a very comfortable amount and then allowing it to come out at a very, very slow rate, but not holding the breath through the nostrils or through the mouth, like so. And that for me in a practice in itself is quite powerful. Yeah. So
that would slow the breath down perfectly. There's many ways to slow the breath down. I mean, if you want to talk about slowing the breath down and breath work, meditation's breath work, just focusing on your nose, just noticing about forcing it, that you're breathing in and out will slow the breath down. There's quite a lot of tools and access we can do.
So I've got a little bit here on breathing exercises to aid in detox during fasting. This is on a website called allaboutfasting.com. And if I just read a little bit out, it says that our lungs are a major eliminative organ for toxins and waste products. by performing breathing exercises, we can enhance the efficiency of this process, increasing airflow for those gas exchanges to take place and enhancing overall the benefits of fasting. The biggest gas exchange taking place in the lungs is, of course, between oxygen and carbon dioxide. The blood picks up oxygen from the lungs, lets go of its carbon dioxide. As the blood moves throughout the body, a similar exchange takes place with the cells as they take in oxygen and give up their metabolic waste product, carbon dioxide. The blood returns to the lungs with its carbon dioxide load, where it is released and a fresh supply of oxygen picked up. So, looking at the elimination of carbon dioxide and the fact that it's talking about the metabolic waste product, carbon dioxide. What methods is the Wim Hof method and all these? Do they complement this style?
I think it's a tough question. They have benefits, but I don't think they're the same. Buteyko is like the opposite, really. Buteyko will slow the breath down, but Wim Hof will speed the breath up. But ironically enough, speeding the breath up short term, like a controlled hyperventilation, actually does afterwards slow the breath down. They do the same thing. So they're kind of opposites, if you know what I'm saying. One speeds the breath up, like the Wim Hof, you do it quickly, right? Yeah. Inhale, exhale. This one's more like holding the breath and doing what you do, actually, like inhale, exhale, slowing it down a little bit, like we did in the yoga today, like a little bit slow. Exhale a little longer.
So bring that back in again. It says that to enhance the efficiency of this process, increasing airflow for those gas exchanges to take place and enhancing overall the benefits of fasting. So, it sounds like when we are fasting or when you are doing dry fasting or any type of fasting, but dry fasting in particular, we're talking about here, to slow the breathing down. Is that something that you'd recommend more than obviously speeding it up? Because I want to know which one benefits. Both great, but what
to be honest, I've done when I was doing 13 days, like 48 hours. I did one 13-day roll dry fast 2 years ago, and I did the Wim Hof during it. And what happened is I just went into an extreme version of detox. So it seemed like to me that it was pushing me into deeper detox, which is what you want, because you actually touched on a profound point. About 80% of the toxins in our body are removed not from the anus or the skin, although they do. Some percent, it's mostly the breath. You can testify to this, we'll be honest here, because on day 2, 3 of my dry fast, this one, I believe you said, and I will share this information with you, my breath was actually quite smelly. And I'm not surprised, because it was going to a deep level of toxicity. It was coming out of the breath, right? That's what we allude on that one. So it's major. Yeah. And if the breath, what we're saying is true, that the breath is actually primed all the time, even when we're not fasting, but especially when we fast, the most common way to get rid of toxins from the body, well, of course, if you slow the breath down, which both do, they both slow the breath down after you come out of them, then you're just eliminating more toxins and you're pushing yourself into a deeper dry fast. So you're improving the quality of the dry fast and speeding up the process of the dry fast. Without, say, what we talked about before, exercise, we kind of agreed that there's a point where you do not want to be doing exercise like maybe yoga, that's okay, it's soft. I mean, you don't want to be doing hard exercise, push-ups, sit-ups and all that stuff when you're doing it. But breath work, you can do it. I just don't do both, because I think for me it's enough. But if you want to do both, don't you want to throw as many breath work as you want, conscious breathing, whatever, whilst you're dry fasting, yes, by all means do it. It's only going to give you benefits, no downside in my opinion.
Right. Just to read on from here, that says this process is essential to each and every cell in the body. It is said that all death is caused by loss of oxygen supply to the cells, and that finding a cause of death is really about determining what caused the cells to suffocate. We can use breathing exercises to improve the oxygenation of our blood and cells. Without the use of breathing exercises or other physical exercise or exertion, our inhalations are usually pretty shallow and only a small portion of the lungs are active in gas exchange. This is the way most of us naturally breathe while at rest or involved in sedentary activities. So that's quite interesting, because it's touch base with the cells, so maybe we can go on a little bit more on that in a second.
Resonate with
also
that.
breathing exercises, and we just touched on physical exercise and exertion. So obviously it doesn't say how deep, but physical exercise obviously clearly means physical exercises. And it says, and we are talking about fasting here as well. So so it's emphasizing that if you have shallow breaths while fasting, it's not as beneficial. And I'm assuming this is because you're not, the process of actually eliminating toxins
it's being slowed down
is being completely slowed down.
Correct. So, however, I'd like to counter that with my own opinion. This might be wrong. I believe that the breath will automatically, and this is intuitive knowledge I'm just getting from my own experience and just makes sense to me, your breath almost certainly will improve when you're doing a dry fast, because it's an extreme form of fast. I'm not saying you can't maximize it to an even slower breath. I'm just saying compared to your usual, this is what I'm trying to say, compared to your usual breath, which might be shallow permanently, say they're not doing breath work, and then they do the dry fast, it will actually naturally slow during that process, even if you're a shallow breather, which is pretty impressive. But it doesn't mean you stop there. Just making a point. You can go further and slow it down. Of course, have these experiences. And actually, people report during urine fasts. I've heard stories about doing breath work, being urine fasts. This makes sense to me. All kinds of crazy Kundalini experiences, because if you do breath work during any of these fasts, especially dry fasts, you are going to really transform your consciousness to a very high vibration. You're doing two powerful healing modalities, which work well by themselves, and you're putting them into one, and that will change your vibration to a very high state and remove loads of toxins.
Very, very interesting. So just seeing what's, and that will do for that there. So exercising definitely sounds like it's actually a must when it comes to fasting, which is quite interesting. But obviously, we seem to share the same thing. I think there should be a level to it. But
yes, in dry fasting,
it's all about the body trying to.
I think it's different for juice fasting. I think it's different. You're juice fasting, you're still getting nutrients. I'm sure you'd agree that you'd be fine to exercise during your juice fast.
I feel you could do more if you was doing that, because your body's saturated, so it's therefore probably a bit more beneficial for you to do more physical exercise, so you can actually burn even more up. So you should have run on that one. I'd like to know if anyone wants to add to that as well. But it's coming up with breathing exercises here, and it's got one which we were just talking about. It's conscious breathing. Yeah. And there's two parts to it, which is quite interesting. And then it's something about waiting to inhale, and abdominal breathing, which makes a lot of sense to me. Yogic breathing, which we were getting down into a little bit today. Using abdominal and chest breathing. Yeah. So, there are particulars that they're sort of pinpointing here with fasting. So what ones have you kind of, you've said you've done the, have you done yogic breathing?
What is yogic breathing?
Okay, yogic breathing with abdominal and chest breathing. So it says, imagine the lungs divided into upper and lower sections. Inhale deeply, expanding the abdomen and filling the lower section with air, then expand the chest to fill the upper section. Reverse the procedure for exhalation. First, deflating the chest to empty air from the upper section, then pulling in the abdomen to empty the air from the lower section. Okay, so you just take one.
It sounds very similar to conscious breathing. These techniques are all melded together. Like, it's just being conscious of what you're doing and the air going into your lungs, and that will slow the process down, I guess. Kind of like meditation, breathing, breath works.
What about fasting or dry fasting and doing your breathing exercises indoors? Is that something you'd recommend? Are you bothered by that?
I mean, I do it anyway. My particular breath holds in the mornings, just in my bed.
Right.
But I mean, yes, of course, it's going to be better, more beneficial, I think, to do it outside in the fresh air, away from cars, away from the busy streets, if you can, in your garden, by trees in forests, because you've got more prana, you've got more high negative ions.
Do you have plants in your rooms?
Don't. I should. Okay. That's a great point, actually. You want to be putting plants in your rooms to help with the breath, pure oxygen, also taking out the crap, the toxicity of the room, because buildings are very sick these days. Will improve. You will improve your breath and your fasting process to have plants and other things in it. So, yeah.
Got a little bit of short information here. Maybe I'll just read out a little bit, but interesting. It says, what is dry fasting? This is on a website called stayhealthyways.com. It says a dry fast is when you abstain from both food or water. It is practiced in many cultures and religious traditions around the world, practiced by Russians for an extended period. The fast is known as the absolute fast, a Hebrew fast, or black fast. You heard of these?
No. Absolute fast to me sounds just the same as a hard dry fast. That's what I reckon they're saying. It's just a different term, isn't it? Hard. Do you know what I said to you? There's a soft and hard dry fast we talked about before.
Yeah.
So it's probably just a hard one. Absolutely.
It says those fasts, which is extreme and usually for spiritual clarity, which resonates with me, to be honest. So, while a dry fast has been known to last for 40 days.
Wow.
So this is, I've heard a lot about 7 days. Oh, people should be doing it for 7 days. Oh, this and that. But this is saying
40 days. Interesting.
While a dry fast has been known to last for 40 days during the biblical period, the longest dry fast in today's age is 18 days.
Is it? Wow, that's quite a long time to me. What does that sound like to you? Sounds
like it's over 2 weeks. So
I heard 14 days, so there we go. I heard 14 days, 18 days. It's a long time.
But those who practice this type of fast, do not recommend doing it for over 12 days. But to do short dry fasts for 2 days or less every week, working your way up until one can do a dry fast for 5 days and normally eat for another 5 days, repeating this cycle. Okay, so I mean, it's all about practicing, testing your boundaries, and giving it a shot. But it's definitely heading towards the fact of actually, I guess what they're trying to say is the intermittent fasting is really quite key.
Yes,
really, especially
that's the prep work for the dry fast, the intermittent dry fast. You can't skip the process. If you do, you're going to suffer, and you won't be able to do it, and you'll give in. Yeah. You have to do intermittent dry fasting, not intermittent water fasting, and intermittent dry fasting. Because what's going to happen is, we talked about this before, you're just going to get a headache, a really bad one, 16 hours in, and you want to do 40 hours. That's not going to work. You're going to give up. You're going to get a really bad headache because you just haven't done the prep work. Why suffer? Do the prep work, get that headache out the done. Be proud of yourself. You've gone for a little headache, because the next time you do a dry fast, you won't get that headache again. Then you would push it a couple of hours. It's not a competition. It's not a race, this dry fasting. It comes slowly. It's very exciting. It's very powerful, but you don't rush it. And you'll get to the point of like 5-7 days will become easy, and your vessel won't have detox symptoms. You'll just be happy, healthy. And then when you add on breath work to it, if you're feeling down, or grounding, which we talked about.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, with the breath work, I was just about to add, I mean, what a great opportunity, and it is resonating with me more and more, but what a great opportunity to actually use the primary elements that we do have by, not applying anything else but them, in some way, shape or form through a dry fast. That means that you can actually put a certain amount of energy into focusing on your breathing techniques, or your grounded techniques, in this case, your breathing techniques, and really taking the body to the next level. Yeah. And just to touch base on a few of the benefits and results of dry fasting, it's saying, where you abstain from food and water entirely, you will be creating a specialized stress in your body, where it begins to come with nutrients and water. Your body will then live on metabolic water, which we'll talk on a little bit afterwards, from metabolizing fat tissue. You touch base on that a little in our last talk. And through living with our body's nutrients and water, it would raise the negative imprint the negative imprint your body has made before fasting, letting your cells go through a form of rebirth. Definitely. So it just seems to make a lot of sense, actually, to utilize breathing techniques while doing this dry fast. It has to enhance and make your life a lot more easier, a lot more comfortable.
Let me add something. Let me add something quickly about them. If you want to prove that the benefits of the dry fast, linked in with the Buti Echo breath holds that we talked about as energy, there's also something to test how healthy you are, which is how long, you may have heard this, if you haven't, it's great. If not, don't worry. How long can you hold your breath? And this test will show you how much oxygen is in your system, and that is the key to health. That's what Buti Echo and other people believe. I think this breath hold test is great. So what you do is, when you get up first thing in the morning, either you can test this not dry fasting or when dry fasting to know that dry fasting is working. So as soon as you get up in the morning, normal breath in, exhale, and do the breath holds. Exhale, hold your breath as long as possible, and count the seconds, get a watch, whatever, count. Now, if it's under 20 seconds, I don't know a nice way to put this. You're not a healthy person because you haven't got a lot of oxygen in your system. You need oxygen. I think you touched base with that in one of the commentaries. Oxygen is everything, everything. So you under 20, you've got work to do. 20 to 30 seconds, very good. 30 to 40, very, very good. 40 plus, you never have a disease ever. So that's the test. Now, you can do that under conditions of eating food, and you're going to have whatever results. It's interesting, right? Now, do that when you're dry fasting 24 hours plus in the morning, breath hold, and you will notice a visceral difference in how long you can hold your breath. It's truly astonishing, which implies that somehow the dry fasting is healing you on a level where it's upping the oxygen without, and I get this, it's without breath work. It will change your breath hold times without doing any breath work. This is a test you do first thing in the morning without any breath work. You just wake up, you do the test, hold your breath as long as possible. You will feel viscerally that you can hold your breath. So obvious. You can hold your breath longer on a dry fast, and that's how you know that medicine, because you're empty. You've got nothing to get in the way of digestion, all this stuff, and it will be so much longer. And yes, it's proof that the dry fast really is, in my mind, the king. You did a urine fast. You'd also have a long breath hold, but it'd be a little bit less. You might want to test that one out too. If you think that a urine fast or a water fast is better than a dry fast, try doing a breath hold on a urine fast, a water fast, a juice fast. You'll see that the lengths are longer in the dry fast. And that to me is why I do it and why we're talking about it, I guess, because it is really the ultimate in terms of speed and efficiency.
Yeah, totally. Well, some of the bits and pieces that they've got going on here about, the benefits, are the fact that it stimulates the immune system while activating the body's anti-inflammatory mechanisms. We touched base on that. Yeah. Purifying the blood and clearing the blood vessels, cleansing your mucus lining and digestive system, eliminates parasites,
yep.
Helping regenerate healthy tissues. For a dry fast, only healthy and strong cells survive.
Yeah, that's key.
So your body gets rid of bad contaminants in your body, including cysts and tumours. It touches base on as an effective tool against cancer as well, yeah. Brain cancer, breast cancer, cancer in the nerve tissues. It's just going on and on. Yeah. So it's like a cellular. So what's it say here? It says, as cancer cells destroy themselves as they lack what your body is missing in the blood after you fast, it's like cellular suicide.
Yeah.
So, wow, the breathing, most clearly without that. Like if anyone is doing dry fasting, I'm just going to put it out there. Right? You can battle it if you want, that's fine. But it quite clearly is sounding like that you need to be implementing breathing techniques to increase the input of oxygen into your system so it can most definitely eliminate as many toxins as possible. And if you are slightly unhealthy or very unhealthy, you need to utilize breathing techniques. It's not just about dry fasting and, good on you for doing it, but, actually applying breathing techniques and really going in and allowing the body to utilize as many and getting into those cells and getting the oxygen straight in there so it can break down all the positive ions and get all that stuff out as quickly and as efficiently as possible so your body can start rebuilding and taking in some of that good energy again. It just seems like the way, and this is just this is solidifying it for me. I've been watching a few people like yourself, but actually seeing, I was really curious. This is why we're doing this 5-part series.
It's kind of for you. It's kind of for you as well as much as these guys.
What are the primary currencies that we have beneficial for through dry fasting? Do we need them as much, or is it just about just staying away from food and just letting the body do its thing? But it quite clearly is, a great opportunity to enhance on those primary currencies that we're talking about and really allowing your body to take maximum effect of it.
Just a quick one. Another benefit that I've personally noticed, I speak on experience, although I've read the material that correlates with this information. It's funny, and it's an irony, but I don't know if you know this one. It improves the quality of your skin. Now, the skin we talked about in previous ones, the skin indicates how healthy the liver and the whole organs of the body is running.
Yes, it does say so. As a result, even your skin changes its function.
Yeah, and I can testify, my skin never looked, I post this on Facebook a lot, when I'm 48 hours, 30 hours into a dry fast. It's an irony because if you hear what we're saying, and actually I'll touch base on what we said before, because you're not feeding the body water, right? So how can your skin rejuvenate? Well, let's think about this. You're not getting any water into the system, so your body has to make its own endogenous water, which you just touched base on. Now, how it does that is it pulls oxygen from the air, and combines with hydrogen in your saturated fat muscles. So it breaks down your excess fat, the fat that you don't want, the hydrogen, and the oxygen from the air, and he puts it in from the mouth and from the skin. The skin becomes a way to get oxygen in, and information into the dry fast to get water from the oxygen, the skin. So the skin, it purifies the skin because the body needs to pull the oxygen, not just into your breath, but needs to put it into the skin. So that way it purifies and your skin looks lush. And
it makes total sense. It makes total sense because if your internal being is purifying itself. Your skin has to come out. It's going to come out. The last resort, last place it's going to come out is the skin. So if your skin is looking great from fasting, it's got to be a big sign that actually you're doing something quite good. Like your body's.
And to me, and people say that you're dehydrating yourself. That's an argument against dehydration, because with people that are generally dehydrating, what you'll find is their skin looks awful because there's water in the skin that we need. So how can, if it is dehydration, as some people in the community think, doing 3, 4, 5 days, how come the skin looks so damn good then? Because do you know what I mean? Dehydration in the face, it should come out. If it's real genuine dehydration, you should be looking awful in the skin as it pulls the...
Yeah, definitely. I know. I've shared that a few times with close friends and whatnot, that have struggled with the effects of fasting or change of diet. And in case fasting, I mean, I've had it. Feel the crap coming out your face naturally, and you got no choice, especially for the ladies. You know what I mean?
You mean acne? They come out acne.
You come out with spots.
Yeah,
all sorts, like when you're grease or whatever, it's all popping out your face. It's coming out your face
somewhere, right? Yes.
It's a great sign to have, because some people have a huge problem with sweating. Some people have a huge problem with releasing waters in their skin. It's like, I'm not sure.
It's clogged up, isn't it? It's clogged up with crap. It's clogged up.
They can't aspire properly, and that becomes a huge problem. The crystallization that goes on within the body must be devastating, especially if you're attempting to dry fast. So you have to look at it from a different aspect to allow your body to open up its pores and start working correctly, so you can actually start releasing some of those toxins. So anyone who's in that situation, I feel for, definitely. So, I mean, okay, so with breathing and dry fasting, it's beneficial to use the breathing techniques to amplify your dry fasting. Definitely. Is there anything else we can touch base on?
Sure.
I'm going to try and have a quick look.
Well, let's go with the argument that they say that dry fasting is really good for inflammation. Inflammation is one of the key mechanisms of disease, positive ions or whatever. Well, in comparison with a water fast, which is great, by the way, it's a different tool. Now, they say in the community, and I believe this to be true, it makes sense. It makes logical sense that inflammation, unfortunately, is fed by water. And when we're doing water fasting, we're not putting any nutrients in, but we're still drinking water. So we're technically feeding this inflammation of the body. And this is not good. We want to get rid of the inflammation as quickly as possible. We talked about grounding the last one. That does get rid of inflammation. So does water fasting too. But it's not as quick, because with a dry fast, you're affecting a drought. So there's going to be a shortage of water, but the water you make is high quality. But that shortage of water basically removes the inflammation of your body a lot quicker than a water fast, by definition of a lack of water, and no inflammation can survive a lack of water. But beyond that, you said to touch base about parasites. Same with parasites. Parasites can feed off water. Parasites die a lot quicker when you drought them out. You don't give them food or water. Think about it. You don't give them food. Water fast, very good. They'll die off slowly. If you want to die them out real quick, then just don't feed them anything. Keep your tummy empty. No food or water. The parasites will come out because they've got no choice. It's any human. If we do a dry fast for 200 days, hard dry fast, we're probably going to die. Me and Zeki promote dry fasting, but we're realistic. We're not breatharians yet. So same with the parasites. If you stop feeding them food and water for a couple of days, they're going to come out. They've got no choice because you're depriving them of everything. You're literally starving these things out.
So I want to touch base on some side effects and precautions, which is very important actually when I just scroll through these. So if I just read off of it again, same site, stayhealthyways.com. It says, but remember, while the fast may seem like the optimum solution, there are some things you should watch out for. For starters, you may experience a few short-term side effects such as headaches, lightheadedness, low blood pressure, and fatigue. If you are still new to the dry fast, too long of a fast can lead to long-term side effects, which may even include death if your body's energy is depleted completely. Very interesting. You will also need to control your weight and what you eat, as fasting can lead to binges once you finish.
Oh, yes, it can.
Those who fast tend to crave starchier foods that bulk up on calories, which may lead to weight gain. Or for those who do not eat as much fast after fasting, it can result in weight loss as well, which can affect your skin. Too much weight loss can lead to loose skin, but you can increase its elasticity by having a skincare routine that includes lotion that encourages tight skin.
P.S. Urine therapy.
Those who are malnourished, pregnant, or are currently suffering from conditions should not dry fast. Makes a lot of sense. As much as possible, it's best to consult a doctor beforehand to ensure you are in good shape to begin, and that your medicine, if you are taking any, will not be affected. So yeah, very glad that we picked that one up actually. Makes a lot of sense. And most definitely, I mean, the way you went about it and the way I've gone about it and how we are doing it right now is to always get as much information as you can and to definitely introduce it in period and then increase as you go along. But some interesting points there for sure. I mean, what's your take on, we touched base on this before anyway, but your take on introducing foods after a dry fast, like
what type of foods and
amounts, touch base on it. How like are there particular foods that you feel that might be best off left alone before introducing them after a dry fast? Because I mean it's complete. I've watched people or I've listened to people online, you know, that have had a real deep cleanse and they touch base with food, and I've had a lot of people say that, you know, they've had quite bad effects coming from it. You know, not so amazing because like
they broke it wrong. Yeah,
and I feel like they've broken it, quite possibly broken it wrong. Maybe it's the incorrect type of food. Maybe it's because it's solids. Maybe they should be kind of juicing. Maybe it should be introduced into water and then juicing. And I don't know. Like, so what's it for you? How do you crack on?
I'm half and half on this based on my own experience. Might be my psychology might be different. So I'll give you the information what I think. I think there is validity, by the way, to what you said, that there are wrong foods to if you're doing it depends on, first of all, it's okay for intermittent fasts, daily intermittent. Let's get that one out. I think we both agree. Daily intermittent fasts doesn't really matter what you break it with because it's only under 24 hours. No, you don't really. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. You want to improve your diet, but it doesn't really matter. We're talking about here the longer fasts, and the longer you go, I believe, the more you have to concentrate on what you're going to break it with. You don't want to break it with like a soft drink or like loads of junk food because that's going to be like too much of a shock to the system because you've just been dry and your body's pure. So you don't want to shock it too much. However, I do think it matters, but I have done some silly things because whatever, biscuits and pastries, and I've broken fast with that and had no consequences. That doesn't mean that I'm going to advise everyone else to do that. You're going to have to experiment for yourself because I also listen. I hear bad stories about people saying, oh, I've had bad experiences. No, I haven't had bad experiences breaking it. What I did notice on this last fast, which is kind of good information, is that when you do these longer fasts, your stomach will shrink in size. So when you break the fast, now you said something interesting on that commentary. You said that people binge. And I used to too, but I'm getting to the point now with dry fasting, even long fasts I binge. This one was only a 3-day one. It's not my longest by a long shot. And my stomach shrunk. So when you get to that point of dry fasting, your stomach shrinks, what you're going to find when I broke the fast is by the time I got to my second croissant, and I was only eating one croissant, that was it, to break the fast. I thought, wow, I'm excited. I didn't feel like eating anymore, but I did. Wasn't binging, I wasn't addicted. I just thought, oh, okay, well, it's there. Wouldn't class it as binging. My stomach had shrunk. And that's why you don't need to guard against binging only happens to me when your stomach hasn't shrunk. So binging to me is you're at a beginner, intermediate stage of dry fasting. You won't binge when you get to an advanced stage of dry fasting from doing it either prolonged or daily. So hear what I'm saying there, that it is important how you break the fast, but and I've heard stories of people dying. So do exercise proportion. The best way I'd say is to guarantee, the best way is either water, juice, fruits. Those three are the best ways. You can't go wrong if you eat a lot of fruits or drink a lot of juice or drink a lot of water. Those three you can binge on. Anything else, you've got to be a little bit careful.
Gentleman's here after the fast, so each to their own. So thank you for that. It says here, once you are done with your fast, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. Start off by sipping water. That's something that I kind of thought might resonate quite well with, I don't know, maybe distilled water or whatever water you use.
Urine, if you want.
Process restructured. Might be, you don't want nothing to, not even age, I'd say probably. Like you probably might just want, because you want to just ease the stomach. I could be wrong. But for me, it just sounded like, you just want something subtle to come in. So sipping
Let me add
water.
something, Willie. Aged urine, you can try that experiment if you want, but be careful with aged urine. I've heard bad stories. I've done it myself.
I couldn't imagine it.
Your body's out. Here's the thing, though. Your body's already a kind of like very perfect alkalinity because the dry fasting makes it the optimum alkalinity. Now you're putting in pH 14 into a perfect alkaline. There is such a thing as alkalosis. You won't die from it. You will feel nauseous. Guarantee it if you take sips. So be careful with that one.
Good advice. Yeah, sipping water and eating softer food. Again, that's something that I thought, like jumping straight to solids after such a long fast would be a bit devastating to the stomach, and you would feel it because it really has to break down with nothing around the sides to even.
You're right.
That wouldn't feel too great. So from 1 to 3 days, it says focus on eating whole foods such as fruits and vegetables, pureed, blended, or in broth form. That resonates with me quite a lot. Also have yogurt, nuts, and eggs, each to their own again. Lessen your typical calorie consumption first and work your way up once your body is used to taking in food again. It's just reintroducing, being a bit mindful of.
It's a good protocol, but that's the opposite of binging, because there is such thing to the idea of binging, because you're spending 4 or 5 days not eating, so you're going to think on food a lot on this 4 or 5 days. You're going to really enjoy breaking your fast, and when you think about the food and you finally get to break it, that's where the binging comes in.
Totally.
And you won't die from it, in my opinion. I mean, there's extreme outliers. We have to remember these outlier case 99, 100,000 times over 100,000. You won't die from it, but it might not be pleasant to binge on junk right after a dry fast. And plus, it's not healthy to binge on junk because you just put in all that work. So why are you going to binge and overeat on that shit? So you don't want to go backwards in your health so quickly.
Well, we could just touch on a little bit of the stages of dry fasting. Probably touch base a little bit on it, but I'm just going off this page again, just adding a bit of your info as well. So preparation will be to gradually decrease your food intake, but still keeping it nutritious, eliminating anything unhealthy such as sugars, high dosages of caffeine and junk food. It's also recommended to cut off meat and dairy products as well.
Yes.
So I'm not 100%.
I mean, you can do it with it, but you can do it with it, but it makes sense because the mucus thing. It just makes it the ride easier. It makes the ride easier.
But okay, fair enough. And this is quite interesting. This stage should last for about 2 weeks, so it's a big deal. Like actually doing a dry fast. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty confident that I don't think a lot of people actually do a generally healthy sort of regime before they touch the dry fast. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they don't. I think they get a bit excited and just jump into it.
Yes, kind of. You know what my bias is? My bias is to jump into it, and I've proved that with my own experience. So I'm listening to this information, but I'm going to. I might be different to everyone else, so don't listen to me. Maybe you need to learn from your own mistakes.
Well, it even says though some may require 2 months to prepare, and it will help eliminate withdrawal symptoms.
You see, we talked about.
They've just nailed it there.
We talked about prepping, and I think the best prep that doesn't mention there is to do daily intermittent dry fasting. That's the ultimate prep to me. Daily intermittent dry fasting is the prep in how you're going to prep. You just got to work your way slowly.
But yeah, no,
didn't read it out. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that's quite good information there, actually, if you are touching base with it. And we are talking about breathing here as well. We will jump onto that a little bit again, but the preparation of it is definitely quite important. And I like the fact that it touched on the withdrawal symptoms, because we just touched base on that. So afterwards, because you've still got that mindset going on there. So yeah, and it makes a lot of sense, you know, like with anything, you know, if you're a smoker, for example, you need to stop for a certain amount of time before the cravings cut off. You know, same with sugars, refined sugars and stuff like that. There's a period before it starts getting a little bit easier, isn't it? So the body has to go through that transition. So talks about this is the stages of dry fasting. You go through the process of having a loss of hunger, which would make a lot of sense, and acidosis. I've heard a lot about this, and it can be quite a horrible place to be in. So is there something that you have experienced quite a lot of?
Acidosis. Talk to us about what the experiences you've had from people with acidosis.
Well,
I've not experienced this.
Definitely heard of dizziness and tiredness and aches and pains.
Aches and pains.
Yeah,
wow,
I believe aches and pains. Bad breath.
Yeah, but I've had that. So bad breath we can relate to. Aches and pains must be the process of. I guess there is something to the idea of preparation. I think. Okay, so the idea of preparation isn't just what we said, what he's read out in David. It's called being healthy generally. So I do a lot of other things outside of. Don't
quote me on that, because I'm not. Obviously, that's what I hear. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd agree with this. Preparation is being healthy generally. So doing grounding, doing exercise daily or a lot, getting a lot of sunlight, making your body healthier is the preparation. Therefore, when you do the preparation of being healthier, you will mitigate the examples you've just given of aches and pains. Because aches and pains coming out during the body during a dry fast is an indication that your prior health state wasn't that great. That's not a problem, because the dry fast is the main aim of the dry fast is to remove disease. But if you want preparation, you want a smooth ride without any aches and pains, then look after your health generally with all the health practices that we do and the breath work. When you're eating, it's really important. Then you won't get those aches and pains.
So I just had a quick look of what we was going on about with the acidosis there, and it's quite interesting. Just read this out. It says muscle ache, burning, rapid breathing, nausea, stomach pain. If you've experienced the unpleasant feeling of lactic acidosis, you likely remember it. It's temporary. It happens when too much acid builds up in your bloodstream. The most common reason is intense exercise. So we're talking about that. Obviously, if you're doing too much exercise, that's going to have quite an adverse effect on you, isn't it? So
definitely.
I think that sort of solidifies a little bit of our way of thinking, which is to actually do less strenuous exercise while you're actually going through a process of dry fasting, because that can be quite devastating to your body. So, So, we touched base on breaking the fast. I feel like we might have covered quite a lot there. So, I mean, just touching base and making sure we've covered all areas of breathing, dry fasting together.
So,
where do you live? Are you based more near a city?
I'm in a little town near London, 1 hour from London, kind of up north, 1 hour up here.
Right, yeah.
So near London, I'm very, very close.
Okay. I'm just curious, because obviously I'm not too bad where I live, but I wonder what it would be like actually having breathing exercises like and doing a dry fast near the coast. Somewhere like that.
That would be perfect, because you're getting more prana, you're getting more special pure air. That would help. Actually, something I noticed when I was doing my 1 meal a day dry fasting intermittent, when I went to see Lee Wilson up in, he lives by the beach in Penzance. It removes hunger when you've got pure air around you. When you breathe in beach air, that pure air removes the hunger. So I'm concluding that it would make a prime location to do a long fast when you're breathing in pure air, because it's almost like pure air is giving you not just the oxygen, but the nutrition for your body, that you don't even feel those hunger cravings to make your fast easier. It almost proves to you that sometimes this breathing of pure air, beach air or mountain air, that you don't actually need nutrition. And dry fasting is very possible, because you feel amazing. The food hungers go away, the old habits, and highly recommend. That would be a lovely experiment if to break a record for dry fasting. I'd love to see someone do it by the beach or in pure air. That would be possible. not in the city where we are right now. We're in a town, both where I live as well. It's kind of noisy, the cars on the road. So it's very positive ion air, the car exhausts, and there's not a lot. There's trees, but it's not like it's probably not ideal to try and break a record. You can still do it here, and actually, you could argue it's more important to do a dry fast in a place where we are, where we're breathing in pure air, unfortunately, because we live here. We've got no choice, right? And it's more important also to do breath work, those two, for us than someone that's living in the mountain. That's actually a really key point. If you want to get to the level of health of someone that's breathing pure air because they live by the beach, they will have to do less dry fasting work to get to your point. You're going to have to do more because you're breathing in pure air constantly. Yeah, totally. So,
yeah. And there's another site here, which is Systemic Resonance, renaissance.com, and it's touching on fasting. But yeah, a few of your points popped up actually, and a couple of others, which was to do with enhancing the brain function and protection.
Oh, it does hugely. Yeah, I think they did it in the Quran. The Muslims do it. The Muslims do it regularly. Ramadan.
Yeah, they
very regularly.
Muslims, Mormons, and Jews.
Yeah.
Jewish. So you spoke of that, and you spoke of this orthography. Orthography.
We don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know. Orthography. I actually don't know. Autophagy. I don't know. Yeah. Something like that.
High anti-inflammatory activity. High improved lipid profile.
Yep.
Diabetes prevention.
Yep.
You know that?
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. I didn't know that. Just blood sugar levels of your insulin. Obviously, you become more insulin sensitive.
Course,
your insulin, you're not taking any food, right. So you also will experience during dry fast. By the way, long into it, lightheadedness. This is not. By the way, if you ever do experience lightheadedness 2, 3, 4 days into dry fast, this is not a sign that you're dying or it's dangerous. It's just a sign that, you're really going into a deep detox because the blood sugars, the body's having to, the sparing amount of blood sugars or whatever, can't put it all to the head. There's not a lot going around. It doesn't mean to end a fast because of that. You have to be careful though, because I've heard stories about people doing these long dry fasts and in day 10 or 11, they're so lightheaded and they woke up too quickly. I'm not trying to scare you, but don't put your head up too quick. Stand up too quickly. I had experience actually with you yesterday when I told you I went a bit lightheaded. It wasn't that bad, but just be careful because one boy did pass out because he woke up too quickly and he knew he was going to make a mistake. So yeah, don't stop because of that. Just be wary not to jump around and stand up too quickly when you're doing dry fast.
Okay, well, I think we've covered quite a lot there, Harry, to be honest. So if there isn't anything else that you would like to add to dry fasting and breathing, we'll let these guys go and let them carry on with their day, and hopefully please share the videos, watch the videos, and leave your comments. But other than that, this is Dick Dorset for hosting, the Need to Know Crosstalk show. I'm here with Harry Matadeen, and it's been another awesome show, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for hosting. Give us information.
We'll catch you soon. Wholeness. Thank you very much.